We'll get started. Thank you very much for coming today. I appreciate it. We do have some seats here in the front if you'd like to join us. My name's Tom Hiles, and I'm Vice Chancellor for University Advancement. It's a real pleasure today to be here for this very special announcement. First of all, let me say the sun is shining. It's a Friday. There's been some challenges along the way, but we're not here to talk about that today because we've got some very exciting news to celebrate that Chancellor Foley will be sharing with you in a minute. I do want to say that also as a result of this announcement that we're going to have a little bit later, I think all of you know that we kicked off our $1.3 billion campaign on October 8th. With this announcement that we're going to have a little bit later, we have now passed the $700 million mark in that campaign. Absolutely. It's an incredible testament to our loyal alums and friends. And I'm also pleased to say, in a very challenging year, there was some media coverage of a down month in December, et cetera, but later we'll be sharing information that we're ahead of our best year's pace ever. So it does speak to the fact that we have incredible loyalty and alums like the ones we're going to introduce you to in a minute. Finally, I'll just say the three priorities of the campaign that we outlined, along with raising more than $1.3 billion, were a significant increase in our endowment, which is tied to the gift that we're going to talk about today. Secondly, that we want to build 5 to 10 signature centers of $10 million or more. And finally, the renaissance of the campus, really an opportunity to build on world-class teaching and research space. So those are the three priorities, and again, wanted to just quickly reiterate that. So with no further ado, let me introduce our Chancellor, Hank Foley, for our special announcement.
Yeah. Well, Tom, thanks very much, and thanks to all of you for being here today. I really appreciate it. We're excited and humbled by the opportunity to announce this generous gift. As you know, and as Tom just said, this is an important time for philanthropy at MU. Gift announcements are always exciting because they offer inspiring possibilities, as well as an affirmation of the work of the university, its faculty, and its students. Today's celebration is particularly special because the gift I'm announcing matches the donor's passion with an area of strength for Mizzou and reasserts the donor's pride in MU during what are rather challenging times. So, let's move on. Today, we celebrate the generosity of Barry and Marge Slayton. Thank you. Barry and Marge are MU graduates who met at MU. Barry is a 1970 graduate at Kaffner with a degree in the animal sciences. Marge is a 1972 graduate of the College of Education and has her MS in Extension Education. They are residents of West Plains, Missouri, where they own a home and a farm, and I'm particularly jealous of that last part. They have been integral members of their community for more than 40 years. Barry worked in banking, and we all know that's a good way to get to know your neighbors, and Marge owned her own State Farm agency for that period of time, and that's another great way to get to know people in the community. Barry and Marge have been generous with their time. They've served as loyal ambassadors for MU. Barry was a member of the Jefferson Club Board of Trustees. Both Barry and Marge have been involved with the Ozarks Black and Gold Alumni Chapter, with Marge serving as president in 2006 and 2007. Over 2 decades ago, the Slaytons began planning this future gift to the University of Missouri. Planning matters, folks. Here we see it. So today it gives me great pleasure to announce that the Slaytons are making an estate commitment to MU of $2.65 million. This gift will support research and outreach in beef genomics and nutrition. And we quote here from the story, and the story says, "This generous gift will advance the university's mission of research and extension around the state. MU plays a vital economic development role for Missouri, and we are thankful to the Slaytons for their passion and vision that will allow MU to expand its role in supporting an important part of the state's agricultural economy." Makes me want to have a steak for lunch. Dean Paine will now speak more about the impact for Kaffner, but before I welcome him to the podium, please allow me to offer again my sincerest thanks to Barry and Marge, and now here to share more about the gift and the impact on the College of Agriculture, Food, and Natural Resources is the one and only Tom Paine.
Hi. ZOU. Doesn't that blow your socks off? So you sit there and don't say? Oh, man. We were just in Washington earlier this week praying and begging without success. Thank you so much for helping us. You guys are cool. Hey, by the way, so you met here. Where'd you meet? Were you something interesting? Like, were you at the shack or, you know?
That wasn't that interesting.
You had a chance. There you had a chance. Okay. Yeah, right. This is cool. Obviously, this is really important. It's an important time in our state and the state of our university, and you all know what I'm talking about. Folks are questioning us, and folks are wondering whether or not we're a good investment. But folks know we are, not only for our research and our extension, our educational programs, but for lots of reasons. Marge and Barry care about this institution greatly. And you know, I'm looking out in the audience, and you were a banker. And you know, Chuck Brazil's back there. You know Chuck well. And Chuck was a banker too, and we're very glad. These guys were bankers when the interest rates were better than they are now. And that helped things happen. Chuck's the chair of our fundraiser for our college, and we appreciate it. And by the way, I was just telling Barry and Marge that because of their gift, they threw our college up over the top. We're over 100 and some odd % in our efforts to raise money. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Well, Marge is very interested in the nutrition side of this. Probably got that from extension, and just knowing that nutrition is really important, not only for raising cattle, but for raising people. And we need better nutrition. And by the way, our researches in beef cattle nutrition also carry over to things that help the people population. So it's very important. Barry's interested in genetics, knowing full well that we are what we're made up of in our genetics, and knowing well that we can do things to help improve genetics. So this investment is really important. Now, the thing I want to mention is Barry was a banker, right? Marge ran a very successful insurance agency for a while. Now, think about this. Barry started getting into farming as a hobby. It was only logical that Marge, thinking ahead, decided that being in the insurance business was really important, particularly if you're going into agriculture, because we know having insurance is important. Did she cover you? Mm-hmm. All right. I'm just trying to figure these things out. I've still got a ways to go. Missouri, as you know, is either number 2 or number 3 in cow-calf operations in the United States. We're always a little behind Texas, and I don't know if we're number 2 or number 3, but we are big, and it's a big industry in this state. Our division of animal sciences ranks in the top animal sciences research and education programs in the world. In the world. This is a big, big deal. And beef cattle production around the world is big, and we're having increased uses of beef in parts of the world that never used to eat it because their economies are improving, particularly in Asia. And so Missouri plays a very important role in the economy of this state through its beef cattle production. We have specific things that will benefit from this very generous gift. Now I'm going to give you a couple of examples, and I'm going to look at my notes because I couldn't remember this. So we have our newest faculty member in animal sciences, Dr. Allison Meyer. Allison, are you here? You're able to be here? She's waving way back there in the back. So she is working to establish, now I'm looking down, a center for maternal neonatal nutrition. That's getting good food to the babies, for those of you that don't know anything about animals and cattle and stuff like that. So what she's trying to do requires some new facilities, programming and things like that. And what she wants to do is specifically work on pregnant animals, lactating beef cattle, and the neonatal calves. So think about that. Healthy mothers produce healthy babies, produce healthy beef cattle. Now, her work feeds directly into what Monty Curley's doing and has been doing for years, using nutrition to improve beef cattle production and the value in the state. And so we're very happy about that. Another part of this program, this funding, will help fund the work that we're doing in genetics, in enabling producers to identify the cattle that will give them increased value because they understand the genetics. And this comes from the work of Doctors Decker and Taylor. You guys here anywhere? Wave hands back there. How are you doing? You came from, what was that institution you came from? Yeah. Yeah. See? Isn't that cool? You know, this is a fantastic thing. I mean, it's like a big family. The work that they're doing helps us better identify genetics that we can use to mark animals or identify animals so that we can breed them better and we can produce better, stronger herds and increase the value in the state. The research is important, but education of students is equally important. So this gift is going to help us better fund undergraduate scholarships in animal sciences and also graduate student fellowships. So it goes across the board. And in the end, all of this goes into producing new information that our extension folks can take out to help the people in the state and the nation and the world, for that matter, to improve things. This is a great gift. We're very grateful. And I'd like to invite you all to say something if you want. Let's give them a round of applause again.
Thank you. During this process, they asked Marge and I what our goal was when we came to MU. And that was during the Vietnam War. And we were working 30, 40 hours a week. And the rest of the time, we were just having a good time and probably had no goals at all other than get out, which we managed to do. And Tom, a friend of mine here, he went and got his transcript a while ago, and I told him I sure did not want mine. You know, we didn't realize until we got out and got in the workforce what our education was and how much it meant to us. The one thing that MU taught us while we were here was to continue to learn and to change and be able to adapt to whatever the circumstances were as you go through your career. And that was probably the most important thing we learned at that time. During our work career, as we were active in extension or continuing to learn, that became more important to us, and we realized how important our education was at Mizzou, and we were really grateful for that. We've been blessed based on our education, our hard work, and that's the reason we want to give back to the University of Missouri. So thank you.
It's a very compelling story, and I will say, I had a chance to hear a minute ago about when he was in college, and this ties in with Hank's emphasis on entrepreneurship. I found out that his father helped get him a loan for 10 acres of land when he was still in college, and now over 1,000 acres. An amazing American success story, along with all the other amazing achievements. Before we aren't going to take media questions now, but we will stay around afterwards. I wanted to do two other acknowledgments, which are my good colleagues. Darcy Wells in the back, raise your hand, Darcy. And Brent McCauley is here in the front. Brent, raise your hand. They were very involved in, they do a fantastic job with all of our relationships within CAFNR. Tom alluded to this record-breaking year, but also build these relationships. And I want to acknowledge their good work. Please join me in thanking them. And then finally, we just have a small token of our appreciation as well that we wanted to present to the Slayton. So this is a little black and gold for you. So one more round of applause, and we'll be glad to stay around and chat with everyone too. Thank you so much. Thank you.